Now, this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 27, right? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudirayet.
Tato Jayam Udiret.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Ruttama Sloke.
Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Renaistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 27. Dana Dharman, Raja Dharman.
Dana Dharman, Raja Dharman.
Moksha Dharman, Bhagasha.
Moksha Dharman, Vivakasha.
Sri Dharman, Bhagavad Dharman.
Sri Dharman, Bhagavad Dharman.
Samasa Vyasa Yogata.
Samasa Vyasa Yogataha.
Dana Dharman, Raja Dharman.
Dana Dharman, Raja Dharman.
Moksha Dharman, Vibhagasha.
Moksha Dharman, Vivakasha.
Sri Dharman, Bhagavad Dharman.
Sri Dharman, Bhagavad Dharman.
Samasa Vyasa Yogata.
Samasa Vyasa Yogataha.
Dana Dharman, Raja Dharman.
Dana
Dana
Dharman,
Dharman, Raja Dharman.
Moksha Dharman, Vibhagasha.
Moksha Dharman,
Moksha Dharman,
Vibhagasha.
Vivakasha.
Sri Dharman, Bhagavad Dharman.
Sri
Sri
Dharman, Bhagavad
Dharman, Bhagavad
Dharman.
Dharman.
Samasa Vyasa Yogata.
Samasa Vyasa
Samasa Vyasa
Yogata.
Yogata.
Synonym, sorry. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindha Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Jai.
Synonyms. Dana Dharman, the acts of charity.
Dana Dharman, the acts of charity.
Raja Dharman, pragmatic activities of the kings.
Raja Dharman, pragmatic activities of the kings.
Moksha Dharman, the acts for salvation.
Moksha Dharman, the acts for salvation.
Vibhagasha, by divisions.
Vibhagasha, by divisions.
By divisions. Sri Dharman, duties of women.
Sri Dharman, duties of women.
Bhagavad Dharman, the acts of the devotees.
Bhagavat Dharman, the acts of the devotees.
Samasa, generally.
Samasa, generally.
Vyasa, explicitly.
Vyasa, explicitly.
Yogata, by means of.
Yogata, by means of.
Translation, please repeat after me. He then explained by divisions.
He then
Explained by divisions.
Act of charity.
Acts of charity.
Acts of charity.
The pragmatic activities of a king and activities for salvation.
The
The pragmatic activities of a king and activities for salvation.
Then he described the duties of women.
Then he described the duties of women
And devotees.
and devotees.
and devotees,
Both briefly and extensively.
both briefly
and extensively.
Purport, any of you read?
Purport. To give charity is one of the householder's main functions. and he should be prepared to give in charity at least 50% of his hard-earned money. A brahmachari or student should perform sacrifices, a householder should give charity, and a person in the retired life or in the renounced order should practice penances and austerities. Those are the general functions of all the ashramas or orders of life on the path of self-realization. In the brahmachari life, the training is sufficiently imparted so that one may understand that the world as property belongs to the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. No one, therefore, can claim to be the proprietor of anything in the world. Therefore, in the life of a householder, which is a sort of license for sex enjoyment, one must give in charity for the service of the Lord. Everyone's energy is generated or borrowed from the reservoir of energy of the Lord. Therefore, the resultant actions of such energy must be given to the Lord in the shape of transcendental loving service for Him. As the rivers draw water from the sea through the clouds and again go down to the sea, similarly, our energy is borrowed from the Supreme Source, the Lord's energy, and it must return to the Lord. That is the perfection of our energy. The Lord, therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita 9.27 says that whatever we do, whatever we undergo as penance, whatever we sacrifice, whatever we eat, or whatever we give in charity must be offered to Him, the Lord. That is the way of utilizing our borrowed energy. When our energy is utilized in that way, our energy is purified from the contamination of material inabilities, and thus we become fit for our original natural life of service to the Lord. Rajadharma is a great science, unlike modern diplomacy, for political supremacy. The kings were trained systematically to become munificent and not merely be tax collectors. They were trained to perform different sacrifices only for the prosperity of the subjects. To lead the prajas to the attainment of salvation was a great duty of the king. The father, the spiritual master, and the king are not to become irresponsible in the matter of leading their subjects to the path of ultimate liberation from birth, death, diseases, and old age. When these primary duties are properly discharged, there is no need of government of the people, by the people. In modern days, the people in general occupy the administration by the strength of manipulated votes, but they are never trained in the primary duties of the king, and that is also not possible for everyone. Under the circumstances, the untrained administrators play havoc to make the subjects happy in all respects. On the other hand, these untrained administrators gradually become rogues and thieves and increase the taxation to finance a top-heavy administration that is useless for all purposes. Actually, the qualified brahmanas are meant to give direction to the kings for proper administration in terms of the scriptures like the Manu Samhita and Dharma Shastras of Parashara. A typical king is the ideal of the people in general, and if the king is pious, religious, chivalrous, and munificent, the citizens generally follow him. Such a king is not a lazy, sensuous person living at the cost of the subjects, but alert always to kill thieves and dacoits. The pious kings were not merciful to dacoits and thieves in the name of nonsensical ahimsa, nonviolence. The thieves and dacoits were punished in an exemplary way so that in the future no one would dare commit such nuisances in an organized form. Such thieves and dacoits were never meant for administration as they are now. The taxation law was simple. There was no force, no encroachment. The king had a right to take 1/4 of the production made by the subject. The king had a right to claim 1/4 of one's allotted wealth. One would never grudge parting with it because, due to the pious king and religious harmony, there was enough natural wealth, namely grains, fruits, flowers, silk, cotton, milk, jewels, minerals, etc., and therefore no one was materially unhappy. The citizens were rich in agriculture and animal husbandry, and therefore they had enough grains, fruits, and milk without any artificial needs of soaps and toilets, cinemas and bars. The king had to see that the reserved energy of humanity was properly utilized. Human energy is meant not exactly for fulfilling animal propensities, but for self-realization. The whole government was specifically designed to fulfill this particular purpose. As such, the king had to select properly the cabinet ministers, but not on the strength of voting background. The ministers, the military commanders, and even the ordinary soldiers were all selected by personal qualification, and the king had to supervise them properly before they were appointed to their respective posts. The king was specially vigilant to see that the tapasvis, tapasvis or persons who sacrificed everything for disseminating spiritual knowledge, were never disregarded. The king knew well that the supreme personality of Godhead never tolerates any insult to his unalloyed devotees. Such tapasvis were trusted leaders. Such tapasvis were trusted leaders even of the rogues and thieves who would never disobey the orders of tapasvis. The king would give special protection to illiterates, the helpless, and widows of the state. Defense measures were arranged previous to any attack by the enemies. The taxing process was easy, and it was not meant for squandering, but was for strengthening the reserve fund. The soldiers were recruited from all parts of the world, and they were trained for special duties. As far as salvation is concerned, one has to conquer the principles of lust, anger, unlawful desires, avarice, and bewilderment. To get freedom from anger, one should learn how to forgive. To be free from unlawful desires, one should not make plans. By spiritual culture, one is able to conquer sleep. By tolerance only can one conquer desires and avarice, disturbances from various diseases can be avoided by regulated diet. By self-control, one can be free from false hopes, and money can be saved by avoiding undesirable association. By practice of yoga, one can control hunger and worldliness. And worldliness can be avoided by culturing the knowledge of impermanence. Dizziness can be conquered by rising up, and false arguments can be conquered by factual ascertainment. Talkativeness can be avoided by gravity and silence, and by prowess. And by prowess, one can avoid fearfulness. Perfect knowledge can be obtained by self-cultivation. One must be free from lust, avarice, anger, dreaming, etc., to actually attain the path of salvation. As far as the women class are concerned, they are accepted as a power of inspiration for men. As such, women are more powerful than men. women are more powerful than men. Mighty Julius Caesar was controlled by a Cleopatra. Such powerful women are controlled by shyness. Therefore, shyness is important for women. Once this control valve is loosened, women can create havoc in society by adultery. Adultery means production of unwanted children known as Varna Shankara, who disturb the world. The last item taught by Bhishma Deva was the process of pleasing the Lord. We are we are all eternal servants of the Lord, and when we forget this essential part of our nature, we are put into material conditions of life. The simple process of pleasing the Lord, for the householders especially, is to install the deity of the Lord at home. By concentrating on the deity, one may progressively go on with the daily routine work. Worshipping the deity at home, serving the devotee, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, residing in a holy place, and chanting the holy name of the Lord are all inexpensive items by which one can please the Lord. Thus, the subject matter was explained by the grandfather to his grandchildren.
Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Mugam Karodi Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrapatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataga Swami Niti Namine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitai Kriba Pradayine Gaurakata Namadaya Nagaragramatarine Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvisesha Sunyava Paschatya Desatarini Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, very excellent. Here, Bhishma Dev, whatever he is being instructing Yudhishthira, who's going to become a king. The previous verse he started. The first thing he taught is, what are all four varnashramas? What are all the four dharmas of the social orders? So, Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra. What are all the duties of Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmana? So, in this way, that was told. But here, next verse is telling Dana Dharman, Raja Dharman, Moksha Dharman, Vibhagasha, Sri Dharman, Bhagavad Dharman, Samasa, Vyasa, Yogata. So, Dana Dharma. So, Prabhupada in the purport is explaining Dana Dharma separately. Then, what is Raja Dharma? Then, what is Moksha Dharma? And what is Sri Dharma? And what is Bhagavad Dharma? In this way, Prabhupada separately, one by one, is explaining what has been taught by Bhishma Dev to Yudhishthira. Overall, in principle, there are two things. One is called a principle, another is called a detail. So the principle is given, but the detail will be dictated by the present Guru. But the principle should be taken from the scriptures, not the detail of how to execute. How to execute will change according to time, place, and circumstance. So always and every time in the Acharya Parampara, there will be a current Acharya who will guide us in how to do it, how to execute it. So the how-to question should be asked only to Guru Maharaj. Practical application. But the overall principle is explained from the purport. But if you try to apply the purport directly, it will be very dangerous. So the principles should be understood from the purports. Like if you see here, it's a specific instruction given to Yudhishthira by Bhishma. It is not given to Arjuna. Because Yudhishthira is going to be a king. So he needs to know these dharmas and he needs to execute the kingdom accordingly. So we also should understand. We also should understand what is Varnashrama Dharma. But all the Varnashrama Dharma is broken. So we cannot follow it practically. Guru Maharaj is teaching us how to live a life. But we should understand. It is essential for us to understand. Every purport is important. But that doesn't mean that you will apply every purport. Very, very important. The application knowledge comes from the current Acharya, present Guru. That is why we require always a present Guru in the Acharya Parampara, and Krishna is providing the Parampara. Krishna doesn't want the Parampara to break. Even though the conditioned soul always want to stay in conditioning and doesn't want any authority about his head. He wants only the Akash, sky above his head, nothing else. Sky is by default, it is there. Otherwise, he wants to tear it also. This is the situation of a conditioned soul. So, we should understand very clearly that this is the instructions given by Bhishma to Yudhishthira. So, overall principles we will understand. How a king should actually rule. What are all the ruling principles? A king, how he should rule. So that we understand what generally an ideal government is. But if I try to apply this, that means I want to become a king. A desire to become a king is there. So here Prabhupada and Prabhupada mentions, Bhagavatam mentions, one should be out of all material desires. And if you try to apply the instruction given by Yudhishthira Maharaj, to Yudhishthira Maharaj by Bhishma Dev, which actually means you are having a desire to rule. You want to be the administrator. This is the problem. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never advised us to be the administrator. Prabhupada promised to Indira Gandhi when he asked, when there was a rumor that these foreigners are coming to India and settling down in Bombay, here and there, they are building temples. Then they thought it may be a secret agency, government agency, to steal the national secrets. So they are spies, like that American spies. So this went, so they decided to cancel all the visa of ISKCON devotees, foreigners who are entering India. So at that time, Prabhupada personally met Indira Gandhi, and he requested that, many requests, he gave 1, 2, 3, 4. In that one request is, my disciples will never enter politics. My people, my followers will not enter politics. This is a promise he gave to Indira Gandhi. You read Prabhupada Leelamrita and you will see the 1, 2, 3, 4 number of points. But if somebody is reading this purports and he is desiring to be an administrator or a management, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told us, Yare dekho tahe koho Krishna upadesha. Do your duty as a representative of Krishna in preaching Krishna consciousness, rather than try to take a managerial position or an administrative position in the government, and it's already a mess. And you will also become part of a mess. By karma, if it comes to you, that is okay. Somebody, by karma, by default, if they are already there when they entered Krishna consciousness, okay, there was an MLA, but somehow he became attracted and he started chanting. That is by karma, he was there. So he is taking up. But if you are planning to be an administrator, that is a weed. So there is a weed. There is the original seed of devotion, which is called Bhakti Lata Beach. And we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, pouring water, in order to yield the ultimate benefit of Krishna Prem. Ultimate benefit is not ruling the world. Oh, if I become the ruler of the world, I'll make everybody Krishna consciousness. This is never going to happen. Because you're trying to achieve some transcendental thing by material process, Ugra Karma. No, if it has to come to you, it will come to you. So sometimes we see that foolish application of directly the purports of Bhagavatam, don't see who is talking to whom, what instructions are given to whom, nothing. They don't read Bhagavatam from starting till ending, taking a quote here and there. So it is prohibited, even in introduction of Bhagavatam, that we should, to directly go into any canto or any purport, take those purports and apply. No, you have to go from first canto, first verse. You need to go from there, gradually progress. So in that, we have already seen that all the Kaitava Dharma has to be given up. The person who is non-envious only can understand Bhagavatam. The second verse says that. And material desires should not be there, material desires. So this is a material desire. So this is an instruction given. Simply hear. Why can't you simply hear? What is the conversation between Yudhishthira and Bhishma? Bhishma is giving instructions. Why can't you simply listen and understand in principle what is the duty of a king? Don't imagine yourself to be a king, like a person who's watching a movie. The movie, there will be a hero and a heroine. And if it's a boy, he will imagine himself to be the hero. Or if it's a girl, she'll imagine herself as a heroine. And this is an illusion. Same way, when a king is receiving an instruction from a counselor or a leader who has been guiding, then you don't imagine yourself to be a king, Yudhishthira, and you start implementing all this. Very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. These are all weeds. There is original devotional plant. Whatever Hare Krishna Mahamantra, such a person is chanting. He may be standing very seriously. He may be chanting every akshara very nicely, pronouncing, very pakka, getting up at the Mangalarti time. But he's pouring that water of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, nourishment, goes to the weed of material desire. So one should be very, very careful that we should exactly listen how to practically apply from the Acharya Parampara, Guru Maharaj, that how everyday life of a devotee will be. Prabhupada is also explaining Bhagavad Dharma also. So we will concentrate on that Bhagavad Dharma. So Dana Dharman, Raja Dharman, Moksha Dharman, Vibhagasha, Stri Dharman, Bhagavad Dharman, Samasa, Vyasa Yogataha. So I will explicitly explain what it is. So then he explained. The explanation is not given here. Okay. Sutta Goswami is speaking. Sutta Goswami is speaking. He explained these divisions. So what are that purport? So Prabhupada is also explaining to us in a small paragraphs on what are all this Dana Dharma. Dharma means duty. A duty. So what is the, if we have to donate, even in Bhagavad Gita, we see the donation in Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, Tamaguna, and of course, Suddha Sattva Guna is there, Suddha Sattva. Three modes are material nature. We are not the matter. We are spirit soul. So we seriously consider ourselves as a matter or a king or a human being. This is the dharma of a human being. I will follow the dharma. Whereas Krishna is telling Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Braja. So we have one dharma, Sanatana Dharma, Vaishnava Dharma, Gaudiya Vaishnava Dharma, and we just follow that follower of Lord Chaitanya. Follower of Lord Chaitanya will abide by all the instructions given, dharma given of how to live, how to execute by Lord Chaitanya. He doesn't go 8,000 years before and take from Bhagavatam and directly apply, and he will start becoming a king by doing all the protection. He will become suddenly a king by himself, just because he read the instructions which are given, hitar and ditar. Because here you see the detailed instruction is not there. Of course, some detailed instructions are mentioned in the next verses, upcoming verses. So here, to give charity is one's work. So here Prabhupada is giving a simple paragraph by paragraph of what is Dana Dharma, what is Raja Dharma, what is Sri Dharma, what is Moksha Dharma, what is Bhagavad Dharma, in this way. So to give to charity, householder has to give charity. Of course, for Krishna conscious movement, when we see that beautiful projects are there, naturally we are inspired, we are impressed, and we give. Because most of them are doing, and Prabhupada established a life member program. Even a common man who's not a devotee is becoming a life member. Or whenever there is a locally temple is built, the local people collect from local authority, temple authorities collect from the local people in order to benefit them. So Dana Dharma, this is the way Dana Dharma is established already. So that so they are collecting for their own. So non-devotees are giving and getting benefited, even if they are not devotees. Devotee will use the money in the service of Krishna, because he knows once you are initiated and once you have taken a spiritual master, then you will get responsibilities in the moment of Krishna consciousness. When you get responsibilities in the moment of Krishna consciousness, you belong to the moment. So you can use your money in the service, whatever service given to you, you can do it very nicely by using it. And some donation also you can give, nothing wrong in giving donation. Why not? But primarily, when you have a service, when you can enhance the movement, then you will enhance it by your money. That is way it is purified. Every householder, anybody who's earning money should give, like prasadam. Anybody who has a kitchen, who's cooking, should give a small portion in a plate, very nicely arranged in loving and with great love and affection, should offer it to the Supreme Lord. Same way when there is a money. When there is money, certainly it has to be very nicely organized, like then you offer to the Supreme Lord. Then you use the rest of the money. Then it is called prasadam. Otherwise, you'll be entangled. You'll be entangled. You have to repay to the person whom you're taking it from, and you'll become a servant of him life after life. Sometimes we devotees see here some servant maid come and she will steal something. So we'll try to warn her once or twice, don't steal, don't steal. After that, if they steal here and there small things, we leave it, because without our knowledge, more they take it, they have to become our maid servant in next life also. If I am in the earth, then I have 3-4 maid servants ready for me because they have stolen from my property. So they'll become my servant. That is very, very clear. So Krishna is telling that anybody who is not taking offering in yajna, and yat karoshi, yat yajnashi, yat jugoshi, tatasi, yat tat kurusva madarpanam. One is not utilizing in the service of Krishna, either directly or by giving it as donation for some good projects and enjoying all the things, then he is called so-called enjoyment. He is eating only sin. He is eating only sin. So certainly the purification will happen only if a portion of whatever is the earning is given in charity or used in the service of Krishna. So here it is mentioned as the general people, common people. They should understand Bhishma is talking to Yudhishthira about the common people. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has not yet come and he has not established the Krishna conscious movement at that time. Yudhishthira Maharaj is gone, then Parikshit Maharaj came, then many other kings came. Shudra started ruling. Shudra will rule. This is written in Bhagavatam by Vyasadeva. So now we are in Kali Yuga, and 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he established a beautiful lifestyles of how to do Dana Dharma, all this Dharma, Raja Dharma, no, Dana Dharma. Anyway, we are not Rajas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always told that Trinadapi Sunichayana Tarori Vasahisuna. Amani Namana Dena Kirtaniya Sadahari. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, we are seeing Asesha Mandalapati, the Mandalapati Prime Minister. The Prime Minister and Finance Minister became full-time devotees, Goswamis in Vrindavan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never advise you, you wear a saffron and go and rule the kingdom. No, it is not advised neither by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu nor by Prabhupada. Whereas in example of Rupa and Sanatana, we are seeing that they gave up that and started in preaching work. So preaching work is very, very essential in order to enlighten the common public. This is the way we help them. Rather than trying up government position to be taken, to have a very nice relationship. Of course, we will have a good relationship with the government in order to enhance our movement, enhance the projects, all these things. The expansion of the project, not to become a diplomat. Not that I should have the voice in the government so that nothing, it is not going to work out. It will work out the other way. If you try to sincerely serve the Krishna conscious movement, then automatically everything will come into place. So here, Prabhupada, one paragraph by one paragraph, is explaining to give charity to householder is the main function. We should do this. At least 50% of his hard-earned money, which may involve in some service. We are devotees. If they are not devotees, they are supposed to give. A brahmachari or a student should perform sacrifice. A householder should give in charity. A person in the retired life or in renounced order should practice penance and austerities. So they should not eat too much. They should not, oh, I'm retired, so I'm having very good food. I'm living a royal life. With all my money, I deposit and I am enjoying. Not like that. As a grahastha, we may be having an opulent life. But when we go into retirement or renouncement, then there is a penance and austerity. So this is essential. And a grahastha should actually give charity. So there are full-time devotees who are serving in Krishna conscious movement. And of course, they need to, they should not simply come like that. They should have some basics. If they have been lived a successful grahastha life, Rupa Goswami is telling to save for their future. So they, when they're devotee for 20 years or 25 years, and they come and ask salary shamelessly from Krishna consciousness, then we understand they have not followed Rupa Goswami's instruction. Rupa Goswami is also mentioning, Prabhupada is also mentioning in Nectar of Devotion also, that you should save for your future, so that in future your food and shelter and your maintenance is maintained. You're being maintained by your own hard-earned money which you have as a householder. When you're a householder, see, any householder normally will save for the retired life. Why you didn't do it? Why you didn't do it? Did you give charity? So all these things has to be seen. All these things has to be seen. And then when somebody comes as in the retired life, they should be austere and penance they should take. They should live a very simple life. And at the same time dedicate. Who will give money for the projects then? The Grahasthas will give. Whoever is earning, they will give the charity to these projects, so that the movement will expand. The Grahasthas have a regular inflow of money. Whereas a retired person or a Vanaprastha person doesn't have a regular inflow. But he has given his life for the spreading of Krishna consciousness. So the projects will be supported by the householders. They give in charity. And the brahmachari or a student should perform sacrifices. He will be there serving everybody. Brahmachari is a student. Student is actually should serve a senior grahasthas who have taken up positions, and also senior sannyasis. They will be servant of senior sannyasis, and also they should assist the householder people who have come in order to dedicate their life, because he's a student. Just the saffrons, all the saffron is not the same. Brahmachari is different from sannyasi. So we should know the difference in Krishna conscious movement also. So those who are, if you go to Bangladesh, they are following so sweetly, so nicely, spontaneously. Not by duplicity and diplomacy, because it is written in the book and Prabhupada said, and this argument, no argument, no philosophical speculation. Very clearly they know, because by dint of devotion. Those are in the general functions of all ashramas or orders of life on the path of self-realization. So in the brahmachari life, the training is sufficiently imparted so that one may understand that the world as property belongs to the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. This is the understanding one should have in the brahmachari life. No one should therefore can claim to be the proprietor of anything in the world. Everything belongs to Krishna. Therefore, in the life of a householder, which is a sort of license for sex enjoyment, one must give. So the sex enjoyment is only in the Grahastha life. So what is the duty of a Grahastha is to train the children in Krishna consciousness. Why the license is given? Why there is a nice house, nice kitchen arrangement? So to look, it will look like for sense gratification, everything is, the complete license is given. But that is because they are matured. The most matured people is the Grahasthas, because the Grahastha devotees, not Grahametis, Grahastha devotees, who knows how to utilize every single item in the service of Krishna. They don't see anything outside Krishna. So also one must give charity in the service of the Lord. When you have money, then service. When you have ingredients of cooking, what do? You have rice, you have dal, you have sabji. What do? You offer to Krishna and remnants you take. In some cups you are offering to Krishna. You are not keeping the entire thing. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Will I get or not? It is going to come back to your plate also. So everyone's energy is generated or borrowed from the reservoir of energy of the Lord. Therefore, the resultant action of such energy must be given to the Lord. Even in the bodily, two things. One is money, another bodily service. We are having intelligence. We are having some talent. The talent may be different. Each one may have, somebody knows dancing, somebody knows singing, somebody knows computers, somebody knows accounting. So the energy, where from the energy is coming? Everyone's energy, Prabhupada is writing here, everyone's energy is generated or borrowed from the reservoir of energy, the Lord. Lord is the reservoir of Shaktiman. Krishna is Shaktiman, we are Shakti, Tatastha Shakti. So whatever Shakti we are having, that is borrowed from the reservoir of energy of the Lord. Therefore, what you should do apart from charity? Apart from charity, we should offer service to Krishna. What kind of service? Therefore, the resultant action of such energy must be given to the Lord in the shape of transcendental loving service for Him. What kind of service? Oh, I have to do service, what to do, like this. Not like that. Transcendental, spiritual loving service unto him. So as the rivers draw water from the sea through the clouds and again go down to the sea, similarly, our energy is borrowed from the supreme source, and the Lord energy, it must be returned to the Lord, even the energy. So two things. One is dana. Prabhupada is explaining dana, donation. So one is donation in terms of money. Another is in donation in terms of service. You're returning back the energy. Whatever prasadam we are eating, that energy should go back to Krishna. That is the perfection of our energy. That person, that will become, he'll become, the person more and more uses that energy for Krishna, that we see Shakti Avesh Avatar. Empowered incarnations. Why Krishna is empowering? Herculean task they will perform. Normal person will say, why he is having so many disciples, how he can manage so many disciples, because the person who is commenting it is not empowered. Because he has not offered his Shakti to Krishna. When he has not offered, he is conditioned. And he thinks the pure devotee, spiritual master, Acharya, who is empowered by Krishna by the power of devotional service, power of perfectly following his spiritual master, power of investing his energy on spiritual, power of investing all his energy in the service to the order given by spiritual master, is more and more empowered. And more, everybody is not the same, Baba. You are a fool. You cannot. Doesn't mean nobody can. Oh, I have not seen Krishna, so Krishna doesn't exist. No. Another person has seen Krishna, Prahlad has seen Nrsimhadev. So many, including Yudhishthira, Duryodhanas, everybody saw Krishna in this planet. You have not seen doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Same way, if you're not empowered, don't judge a pure devotee spiritual master, a pure devotee Acharya who is empowered and is proving practically. Don't become envious or don't compare yourself. So this is very, very essential that we see here how energy is offered to Krishna, and in return, Krishna is also empowering that particular person. The more a person gives his energy to the Supreme Lord in the service of the spiritual master, then the Lord empowers that person more and more and more. He's so pleased. He's so pleased. Lord is so pleased. So the Lord, therefore, in Bhagavad Gita 9.27 says that Yat Karoshi, Yat Jnashi. So here in English, Prabhupada has written the same sloka. Whatever we do, whatever we undergo as penance, whatever we sacrifice, whatever we eat, or whatever we give in charity must be offered to him, the Lord. That is the way of utilizing our borrowed energy. When our energy utilized in this way, this is how you understand the difference between Shaktiman and Shakti. And then we are all Tatastha Shakti. But the Antaranga Shakti, the transcendental energy will empower us if we are sincere and genuine to the Acharya Parampara and our spiritual master and execute the Krishna consciousness. And like that only, we see Shakti Avesh. People are the very wonderful, amazing devotees like Guru Maharaj and all are empowered by the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, how it is possible? How it is possible? Look at Mayapur. Look at Mayapur, wherever you're staying. When you come to Mayapur, you will see this. You're struggling so much to build one house. You're earning so much money. But still you're having a loan. You're doing this. You're doing that. To build one, get one apartment, buy one apartment or one house. But in the order of spiritual master, not by his own will. This is my project. I've taken this project. Prabhu, support me. Like that, no neophyte blakwas. No neophyte foolishness. A mature devotional service is executed under the order of spiritual master. Acharya Parampara. He can become a perfect representative of that Parampara. So only on the order of spiritual master. Because the spiritual master knows who will execute. So only he gives personal instruction. So just by the Shakti, that surrender, full surrender to the spiritual master, it is possible. Like how Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, he was an individual person, so old man. Unknown country, he went. How it was possible? What is the reason how ISKCON got manifested? Only because he's used his energy 24 hours, Yat Karoshi, Yat Dashnashi, completely under the instruction given by spiritual master. But initially he opened in Jhansi, it was a failure. Because spiritual master ordered him to preach in West in English, mainly. You're educated boys, you can do this, you're young, you're educated. So Prabhupada, when he went, it was pleasing to the Acharya Parampara, spiritual master. Tuck, 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 everything manifested. So many temples, how many books, how many translations, how many devotees. Amazing Kirtan, amazing programs, all Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur established in 64 Gaudiya Maths. But here Prabhupada, 108 temples, the same process of Mangalarti, Darshan, same process. Mangalarti, Darshanarti, authorized process from spiritual master. He didn't create Mangalarti and all, Guru Prabhupada. He just expanded his Guru's movement. And a genuine disciple will not start his own philosophical, mental, speculative process. That is interpretation. Then he has broken branch of Krishna consciousness. Anybody goes like that is a broken branch. But the original branch means like what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. If you go to Gaudiya Math, he even took his disciples to Gaudiya Math, to very loving God brothers. Prabhupada had one or two, and Prabhupada took them, the disciples there, and asked them, see how they are serving guests. See that, read Prabhupada Leelamrita, you'll understand. He showed. And the same process of Mangalarti, Darshanarti, Charanamrita, all these are the process. But Prabhupada expanded it. And further, if you come to Mayapur, you will see that people are standing in the queue to drink Charanamrit. And people are standing in the queue to offer flowers and taking the chatari and all this 64 angas of bhakti and various process which Prabhupada introduced has been expanded further. Expanded further and more is acquired. More and more expansion is not done. Not that in Rajasthan, very wonderful that we were discussing about how the children, they try to beget more children and they think children are the property of the parents. South India also, there is a lot of agricultural land, and also there in Rajasthan also. But there, they beget children, and the children, the father and the elder brother or one or two brothers will take care of the father's property. Very rare, little people will take care. But other boys will go and take in lease the other properties, and they will cultivate in new properties. And they will bring it to the family. Joint family will be a joint family. And they will bring more lands into the property of the father. But in South India, we see that whenever there is some land, there is maybe 10 acres of land. And if there are 3 children, they'll all divide 3 acres like that, they will divide. And further, that person will have another 3 children. Each one will divide 1 acre. In this way, it will dividing and dividing. And the separatist mentality, this is called separatist. So you see who's expanding the movement, who's having acres and acres of land for its cause. See, occupying is different. Going and laying on, okay, my father has acquired the property, I live on the property, I'll sell the property or I use that property. Why can't you expand? This is my property, this is I will become management. This is not the aim. The aim is expansion. And you see how Guru Maharaj has been empowered as Shakti Avesh Avatar. And he has expanded and expanded. You see, there is a big village. We are now living in a community. And who got this land? Not that, okay, all of you individuals, all of you we will acquire, we will like a real estate, we will accumulate money. Around the temple, we will buy the land. Not like that. Complete property has been expanded. The movement is expanded. Every process of devotional service is expanded in a very large way. And Prabhupada said Mayapur is spiritual headquarters. And he handed over to the authorized person, authorized Shakti. So the spiritual master empowers, Krishna empowers. So the energy, when it is correctly used, Prabhupada, this complete is called, you see the output of Shakti Avesh. It's still expanding further. This is the empowerment of the surrender to Guru and executing the order of Guru. Same way, any sincere disciple further Prabhupada, who is empowered can be seen practically. And it will expand further, expanding. You see, Guru Maharaj now also in this bodily situation, he's still going and still in expansion. He's not telling this is my property, Prabhupada bought this temple, so this is I am the management. Not like that. Not like that. The whole world, this understanding that the whole world belongs to Krishna. And everything belongs to Krishna. So here, again, Rajadharma is explained. Rajadharma is a great science, unlike modern diplomacy for political supremacy. Very beautifully Rajadharma is explained. Who's a king? Who is a king? Sometimes people know some diplomacy very well. Okay, they go into some management schools and they become very smart and thinking. And they come and say that this Prabhu is very intelligent, that is very intelligent. He can take all that person in the government is very intelligent, he can take crooked decisions. Crooked decisions. No, not appreciated by Acharyas, Baba. You won't be empowered. You'll be another bakwas. Okay. So Raja Dharma is a great science actually. What is that science? Unlike modern diplomacy for political supremacy. First of all, understand that whatever modern diplomacy is going on for political supremacy, that is not actually Raja Dharma. So we follow science, we follow Prabhupada, we saw the scriptures, we follow this. Okay, we don't follow the other methodology or whatever. People very intelligent, very intelligent. Okay, be intelligent. And your intelligence will not save. Even intelligence is matter, Baba. Even intelligence is matter, material. Spirit, soul, and the consciousness is true. Surrender to spiritual master is true. And instruction of spiritual master is true. Absolute truth. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, what is science? What is actually intelligence? What is intelligence? Discriminating what is matter, what is spirit is intelligence. You cannot discriminate what is matter and what is spirit and thinking matter to be spirit, and then you're no intelligence. That also, in the same verse, Krishna is explaining what is not intelligence also. So the kings were trained systematically to become munificent and not merely be tax collectors. Not collect hand collection. No, not just tax collector. Of course, everybody will appreciate you because you're collecting a lot of money. But here, Prabhupada is mentioning the kings were trained systematically to become munificent. Broad-mindedness, munificent, and not merely tax collectors. They were trained to perform different sacrifices only for the prosperity of the subjects. Only for the prosperity of the subject. Even though name, fame, glory will come when there is a large sum of money. Because the other person who is following you is also behind money. Sorry, Baba, you cannot get Lakshmi without Krishna. Wherever there is Krishna, Lakshmi will be there. So Krishna is attracted to this Krishna, pure Krishna consciousness given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So to lead the prajas to the attainment of salvation was a great duty of the king. Not just give them good food and shelter by organic farming, but by giving them Krishna consciousness and nourishing the spirit soul. Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. If Krishna decides you have to die, even though you have eaten all organic foods like a goat, still you will die. And your body is very youthful, still you will die. But if Krishna decides, Rakhe Krishna, then if Krishna decides to make you live in whatever bodily condition, still you will live. That is Krishna's decision. Paramatma is sitting along with the Atma, and Paramatma is the one who will decide whether the Atma will quit the body, not the organic food. We are not goat. The Father, we are devotees. The Father, the spiritual master, and the king are not to become irresponsible in the matter of leading their subjects to the path of ultimate liberation from birth, death, disease, and old age. This is the leader. Who's the leader? The definition of leader is given by Prabhupada here. He has to lead their subject in the path of ultimate liberation from birth, death, old age, and disease. When these primary duties, so Guru Maharaj always says that I want all my disciples to come back to Godhead. And he every day prays to them whenever he visits the deities. Otherwise also, every single day he's praying. He's praying to Krishna to liberate her, help. This is leader. When these primary duties are properly discharged, there's no need of government of people, of the people, by the people. Not required. In modern days, the people in general occupy the administration by the strength of manipulated votes. But they are never trained in the primary duties of the king. No training. Suddenly coming to the position from a rascal. He will be a rascal. And suddenly he'll be an administrator. So many cases will be there on him. So many this thing. But still, only vote. And the vote also is manipulated. Manipulated votes. That's also mentioned here. How manipulation of vote is happening. Prabhupada is amazing. He is giving us clear vision. We should be very clear and stick to the principles of Krishna consciousness under the authority of bona fide spiritual master, and the success is guaranteed. Not get carried away by name, fame, glory, position, this, that. No manipulation, administration, this, that, nothing. Simple execution of Krishna consciousness is all powerful. So in modern days, the people in general occupy the administration by the strength of manipulated votes, but they are never trained in the primary duties of a king. And that is also not possible for everyone. Empowerment is required to be the king. Raja Dharma, Raja, Maharaja, whatever. So that empowerment is essential. Supreme Lord will empower Raja or Maharaja. Under the circumstance, the untrained administrators play havoc to make the subjects happy in all respects. On the other hand, these untrained administrators gradually become rogues and thieves and increase the taxation to finance a top-heavy administration that is useless for all purpose. That is what is happening. This tax, that tax, sales tax, income tax. What tax is not? We are not spared of any tax. Anywhere you go, there's a tax. GST. Another GST also has come, other tax also come. Oh, no, we will apply one tax. And in that GST, there are 2-3 taxes. Actually, the qualified Brahmanas are meant to give direction to the kings for proper administration. Into why qualified Brahmanas are mentioned? Brahma Jnanati iti Brahmana. No Krishna. Worshippers of Krishna. Proper administration. So Brahmanas are not supposed to rule. Brahmanas are supposed to give direction to the kings for proper administration in terms of scriptures like Manusamhita and Dharma Shastras of Parasara. A typical king is the ideal for people, but Prabhupada has not translated these books. So we don't read these books because we are not kings. We don't read Manusamhita. We don't see Dharma Shastra. Whatever Prabhupada has given, we are reading those books. And anybody who's want to become a king, become an administrator, which is neither advised by Prabhupada or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they read Manusamhita and Dharma Shastra, this, that, because they are dreaming of becoming a king, they'll be smashed in no time. Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha, and you want to become a Kshatriya. Oh, I am a Kshatriya. Excuse me, you're a spiritual Baba. Your LKG failed. Go and read Bhagavad Gita again. Go and read the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the first verses which Krishna is speaking. So you failed in LKG and you want to be a PhD teacher. You want to read Manusamhita and you want to become a king. What nonsense is that? So why Prabhupada has not translated? Why he has not advised the devotees to read this? So actually, he's mentioning what is the duty of a Kshatriya or a king? Are you a king? So that means if you're thinking you're a king or you're dreaming to be a king, then all the Hare Krishna Mahamantra which you're chanting, that water is going to the weed of material desire. It is not going to the original plant of Krishna consciousness. So very, very dangerous. So we should be very careful. At the same time, follow Prabhupada very nicely. That is why we should have a qualified guru who nicely guides us in Krishna consciousness. So here we are understanding how a king will rule. We are not trying to become a king, but we are understanding your principles. Practical application of everyday life according to our own karma, our own situation is guided by the current bona fide spiritual master, and we are just leading that life. So by reading this purport, you should not imagine yourself to be a king and start following all these things. Actually, the qualified Brahmanas are meant to give direction to the king for proper administration in terms of scriptures like Manusamhita, Dharma Shastra, Parasara. A typical king is ideal of the people in general. And if the king is pious, religious, chivalrous, and munificent, the king, citizens generally follow him. They will just follow him. Such a king is not a lazy, sensuous person living at the cost of the subjects. Collect the money and live in that subject. Collect the money, donation, and I will live a nice life. And I'm also a devotee. Not like that. Not like that. Such a king is not a lazy, sensuous person living at now. If we see all the politicians, what they are doing, they are collecting money. They are all collecting money. Anybody you see in administration management, see lazy, sensuous person living at the cost of subject. And they're very enthusiastic in collecting tax. Sometimes we were trying to apply this ration card and all. It was very difficult for us to apply. And we never knew the process, and we never get leave so much. Both of us were working, and it was so difficult to get a ration card. But when we went to pay tax or the EB bill, everything system is working very nicely. If you cannot pay here, you can pay there in that office. Near, there are many offices, there are many collection centers. They're pakka collection. And when we went to pay the house tax, we were treated like royal people, where there was a nice counters 4 or 5 counters. And in government office, we were all provided chairs. There are many, many, many chairs. And the queue is in the chair. When we went to pay the house tax, the first time in the government facility, we felt comfortable. In railway station, we have seen all the people lying down on the ground. There was no facility. And when we went to apply for a EB connection or something, there's no facility. Nowhere there is government facility. But wherever they are collecting taxes, very nice facility is there. That means they are not actually well-wishers of the citizen. Even if you go to a hospital, there is no proper facility for you to sit. Maybe wherever you are paying money, maybe there are seats. But at the same time, when it is a tax collection center, very nicely arranged, this is what is happening. So we should very clearly understand who is who. This is very essential. Such a king is not lazy, sensuous person of subject, because earlier it was mentioned their only aim is to collect taxes and nothing else, not the welfare of the citizens. So a king is pious. So here, a typical king, Prabhupada is mentioning, is ideal for the people in general. And the king is pious, religious, chivalrous, and munificent. The citizens generally follow him. Such a king is not lazy, sensuous person living at the cost of the subjects, but alert always. So now they are collecting very nice house tax. All the taxes are collected very nicely. But see, the politicians are living. No, I didn't change. Royal life. They are living royal life. All the citizens are in the street, but all the diplomats are living royal life. Whose money is that? Whose money is that? They are not money. They don't have an income. They are not part of the people, earning people. Then how are they living? They are living shamelessly on the cost of the subjects. So, but alert always to kill thieves and dacoits. So the king will alert always to kill the thieves and dacoits. The pious king were not merciful to dacoits and thieves in the name of ahimsa. This is duplicity. Oh, we should not disturb them. We should be ahimsa. No. If they are dacoit and thief, it has to be mentioned they are dacoit and thief. And they should not be merciful. So the thieves and dacoits were punished in an exemplary way so that the future, no one would dare commit such nuisance in an organized form. So organized robbery, that should never be encouraged. Such thieves and dacoits were never meant for administration as they are now. So at present, such administration is there. Such thieves and dacoits are administrators. And it is not meant. And Supreme Lord is there. We are not the one to change. Supreme Lord will decide whether Yudhishthira has to rule or Duryodhana has to rule. Ugrasena has to rule. This will be decided by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not that we make some diplomacy plan so that I am a devotee, so I should rule, so I will become a king in this way. No, we are devotees. We are watering the plant of devotion and we spread Krishna consciousness. That's all. Very simple. Prabhupada made us what? We will be that. What Prabhupada made us, we will not become something extra. That means we are a broken branch. If you do that, then it's a broken branch. If you are not expanding the movement, you are creating your own project, your own ideas, then you are a broken branch of Krishna consciousness. So gradually it will die. And we will see, time will prove. So the taxation of, next is tax also is explained very nicely by Prabhupada. Each of these purports are very important for us to understand the overall view, but not exactly to apply. Okay. Everything you want to apply all the purports. Hiranyakashipu is also speaking. Will you apply that purport? Not like that. Not foolish following. We follow through Acharya Parampara. We get it as the very ripened fruit is handed over from top of a tree. It is not thrown. So it is handed over hand by hand, hand by hand, hand by hand. And if we want to eat, we have to get from the immediate guru. We have to get it. Then it is unmanipulated. Not that you crisscross and go to the previous Acharya, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, what is there in Manu Samhita, what Vyasadeva wrote in the Vedas. I'm reading all the Vedas. I'm reading for 14 years all the scriptures. This is not Sumedasha. This is not intelligent. This is foolishness. So the king had a right to claim a fourth of one's allotted wealth. So one would never grudge parting with it because due to the pious king and religious harmony, there was enough natural wealth. So if there is a good, how beautiful was this? When there is a good king, then automatically there won't be any drought. What and all will be there, full enough natural wealth will be there. If it's a namely grains, fruits, flowers, silk, cotton, milk, jewels, minerals, etc. And therefore, no one was materially unhappy. There's an ideal king. No need to be diplomatic, duplicity, cheating. These are all not required. Being a very intelligent person, not required. Being a very devotional person is good. Ambarish Maharaj's kingdom was very nicely ruled. But what Ambarish Maharaj was doing? Karautu Hari Mandiramarjanadishu Asamsti Vaikunta Gunarnu Varnane. All the senses he was using in the service of Krishna. Hand was cleaning the temple of Krishna, the mount was chanting, and that is not even Kali Yuga. That time, then how his kingdom was protected. There was Sudarshan Chakra, was always revolving on top of Ambarish kingdom, so that there is no danger. All the Vrajavasis, they were not making plan how to protect themselves when Indra is also an authorized person, but he is also pouring rain. It's not only Asuras who disturbed the pure devotees, also Devas disturbed the pure devotees. Demigod, the king of all demigods, also disturbed it. It's not. He tried to eradicate the entire village. They never have weapons. They are not diplomatic people that they planned very nicely with their own intelligence. They had the surrender to Krishna. And then Krishna lifted the Govardhan. And there was Sudarshan, whose means drying out all the Samavartaka cloud rain. So this is again and again we have to come back and take anywhere you go, then just come back to Krishna consciousness. That is the only solution, no other way, no other way, no other way. Anybody who finds another way is in the wrong way. No other way. He has to come back here. He has to come back here. Or whatever way he is going is a failure. It's a failure. So we should be very, very careful to stick back with the principles of Krishna consciousness, clearly and strongly, and happily and blissfully. So the citizens were rich in agriculture and animal husbandry. This is also, citizens were rich in agriculture. Why? Because the mercy of blessing of Krishna is there. Now, how will we survive? Why Mayapur is so green? There is no pious king. The world is not ruled by pious king, right? They are all meat eaters, gamblers, all bad habits. Then how is it all this Mayapur is so green? This is explained. The secret is given by Kunti Maharani. How their kingdom is very green. Because only Duryodhana was ruling. Duryodhana was giving instruction and our Dhritarashtra was ruling. Still there. He's still there in the palace. So he was ruling. But how it was green? Because very nicely Kunti is explaining by the glance of the Supreme Lord. So why West Bengal is very green? Oh, so many rivers are flowing. I asked the question, why so many rivers are flowing? Because Supreme Lord glanced. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he was roaming around all the places, and his eyesight, wherever his eyesight has gone, his glance has gone, all are green. This is the secret revealed by Kunti Maharani, and Prabhupada also writing in purport, the secret of greenery. Not that because there is organic farming, they don't put fertilizer, so cow dung, so no cow dung, Baba. It is the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You see anything without Krishna, then you are in illusion. And you don't see yourself by your mental speculation, you see by Shastra. So very clearly it is written that how greenery is there still, because the world is full of meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication is happening everywhere. And government is encouraging authorizedly, systematically. They are doing. But still, why there is so much greenery and food grains are available is because the Supreme Lord Gauranga, he appeared and he glanced over. Nityananda Prabhu Balarama appeared, glanced. So Vrindavana, Krishna is in Krishna book, Krishna is glorifying all the trees and plants, and he's glorifying Balaram for that presence. Balarama, you are there. That is why all the trees and plants are like this. So beautiful. One full chapter is dedicated for that. How beautiful is the trees and plants are there. So the Supreme Lord's glance, he went South India, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years before. He went complete South India. He went to Andhra Pradesh. First he went to Utkala, Orissa, then lived there also a few later. And first to Andhra Pradesh, and then to Tamil Nadu, and then to Kerala, and then to Karnataka. And a very little portion till Nasik, till the portion of Maharashtra. Half the portion of Maharashtra. And he caught Godavari, and in the bank of Godavari he is returning back. This we see in Chaitanya Leela, where Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mangal, all these books accumulated and Guru Maharaj is presenting. So in this book, it is very clearly written that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got the bank of river Godavari and came back and met Ramananda Raya again and requested him to join him. And Ramananda Raya is telling, I want a little time, a week's time, in order to wind up my governmental duties and join you. So you go earlier because I'll also come along with a lot of people because I am holding a position. So you go in earlier. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves to Puri after completing his trip. So from Puri, again, he goes back into north till Ramkeli and Kanainath via Bengal and returning back from Orissa. And then again, he travels to Vrindavan via Jarikanta forest and Allahabad and Varanasi, Allahabad and Vrindavan and returning back. That's all. That's all is the travel. So wherever Lord's eyesight was glancing, all those places are greenery and we are getting enough nourishment. So here we are seeing that. And animal husbandry is actually taking care. Husband means what? Protector, Baba, not killer. Here nowadays say that there is chapters, there is agriculture university. You go there, there is a subject called animal husbandry. And in that it is told how to have a poultry farm. How to have a poultry farm in which many hens will be there and how to kill them, how to sell them, all this chicken, all these things, and how to bring up goat, how to have eggs from, abort, destroy all the eggs of the hen. All these things are taught in animal husbandry. Bogus, completely. The word husbandry itself doesn't suit, no? What does husband means? Is protector. But you're not a killer. And systemized killing is happening. So, but actually a king citizen is rich in agriculture and animal husbandry naturally, not by plan, not by implement. How many land will you buy in the world? How many land will you make in your own name to make organic farming? How much will you do? Already there are very wonderful agricultural people. Cultivate them, make them a devotee and they will do cultivation for Krishna. That's it. So here there was enough harmony. Because of the pious king and religious harmony, there was enough natural wealth, namely grains, fruits. Bhuma Devi is a person. And she will produce. She'll produce. She's not living on nourishment by material things. She's nourished by the Krishna consciousness. Bhumi is saved by Varahadev, Bhuvaraha. Bhuma Varahadev. So she's the wife of Varaha. She'll be nourished. She'll protect her and provide her. She'll become nourished if there is enough Krishna consciousness. So Supreme Lord's glance was there. His lotus feet walked on the kingdom. Wherever lotus feet walked, namely grains, fruits, flowers, silk, cotton, milk, jewels, minerals, abundant. To materially, no one was materially unhappy. So similarly. So here we are also, when we take up Krishna consciousness, think of your life before Krishna consciousness. What was your food? What was your nourishment? How much money you got? How much food you got? Think now. You are not malnutrition, you are never unnourished once you start becoming a devotee and Krishna consciousness. So we should understand. So all this has to be there's a large purport. So tapasya also explained in the terms of Krishna consciousness only. So tax process was easy, defense was very wonderful. So here the king would give special protection to illiterates and helpless and widows of the state. There is no protection now to anybody. So when we say, okay, in my family, my father is not feeling well, he's the only earning member, we have to manage our problem. Only even when we had a business, very successful business, so much tax we have given, so much tax. And there was a lockdown or something, some problem. 1 year, we were not able to do the business properly. In that case, maybe Prabhu was not feeling well, 3 months, 4 months. We never had enough business to be done. At that time, government never gave any support. When I was earning good, I gave all the money, so much money, 18%, 20%. 20%. Apart from that, in buying every item, I am giving. If I buy any item, I am giving tax. If I am taking any service, I am paying tax. But not when my family is in trouble. There's a family, husband, wife in Sri Lanka. We have a family, very nice family, husband, wife, and 2 children, and the very nice Krishna conscious family. Newcomers, and the father died suddenly. Then the wife is there. She's a housewife. She has two small children. And we all devotees joined together, managed some money and gave like that. All the devotees locally, they all managed some money and they gave. And supported and helped. In this way, citizen has to help. The government never did anything. So this is not the defense. Here, the defense is not just protecting the country with the in the border, nobody encroachment protection. The real protection is widows are protected, children are protected, brahmanas are protected, illiterate people, shudras are protected. How nicely Prabhupada is explaining what actually kingship means. And then women class also. So how women is described by Prabhupada. Many times we have heard that it is meant that women is Maya, women is Maya. But see what Prabhupada is writing. That person who is commenting like that has not read Prabhupada's book. I'm really telling he has not read Prabhupada's purport. 100% guaranteed. Prabhupada is describing here, as far as the women class are concerned, they are accepted as a power of inspiration for men. As such, women are more powerful than men. So here, mighty Julius Caesar was controlled by Cleopatra. Such powerful women are controlled by shyness. Shyness actually means not showing off shyness. When you see a man, you become shy. Not like that. Covering your body properly, covering the bodily parts properly, that is primary of shyness. Shyness is not showing emotion to any man you watch or anybody you see, and not executing, not like that. So they are powerful women, but they are controlled by shyness. This is what we see. We have example women. We have Nityananda Prabhu's wife, beautiful. And when we went to Bangladesh, we saw a place where she is a daughter of a king. She is a princess. Big palace, very, very big palace, private pond, beautiful palace, very big palace. Her name is Ganga Mata Goswami. She is a disciple of, I think, Haridas. Haridas they're all Gaudiya Vaishnava. So she, in very young age itself, she heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. She was very inspired and she heard Goswamis and their followers are in Vrindavan. And she went to Vrindavan and became a devotee. And then she was asked to initiate by a spiritual master and go to Puri and preach. So she went to Puri and she was there in the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, was converted into a temple. And it is called Ganga Mata Mat. When we go to Puri, we should not ask Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. Nobody will know. But if we ask Ganga Mata Mat, they will show. Because she is Ganga Mata Goswamini. She was there. She was initiating people. But at the same time, she had covered herself properly. She didn't do anything to attract men and all that. So that is shyness, means cover yourself properly. Behave yourself in such a way that you're not just tempting other man. These are all shyness actually. This is a protection. They are controlled. So when there is unnecessary speech or a man is removing his dress or something, she will move away. So move away and stay in another place. She'll not go in the middle of the man crowd and dance in the middle of the crowd. These are all some things. Once this control valve is loosened, already it is loosened in Kali Yuga, we need not fear. We need not fear because we have Guru Maharaj and he's guiding us. So women can create havoc in the society. You see, materialistic women, they are creating havoc. In Bangalore, we were living in an apartment and there was a big, we had our office also in a big IT park. Okay, so the apartment was just in the next compound. So we found an apartment just nearby. So we thought that will be easier for us. But every day that there are call centers, one or two, they're very big building, very big campus, and there are call centers and the night shift and everything. So we see that the girls, along with boys also, there are one or two tea shops and they sell some snacks outside. They just come and sit on top of our compound wall. One side of the wall is a little shorter and they smoke. They smoke and smoke and smoke. Why not? What is the difficulty? What is wrong? Because they have to beget children. If they have problem with the liver and if there is health issues, then the entire generation will have health issues, mental problem, physical problem. They may be deaf or dumb. In this way, the children may be born because they are going to hold the baby for 9 months and 9 months and nourish in the womb. So they cannot compete in that and all. So intellectual is something different. Being intelligent is something different. And competing in a physical way is something different. Physically, we have some issues, right? Once this control valve is loosened, we see that women create havoc in the society by adultery. We also see that before marriage itself, almost all the girl or just in the street in Delhi and all, I saw very, very bad. Like it's a complete, like, can't say what it is. Once this control valve is loosened, but nothing to. So adultery means to production of unwanted children known as Varna Shankara. That Varna Shankara will disturb the world. So all these are very dangerous to stay away from Vedic scriptures. But Krishna is telling Sarvadharman Parityacha Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papepyo Mokshayisyami Master. So we need not fear insofar we are following no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex. Here, no illicit sex at all. Once I know that very moment onward, whatever it is, break all your things and come clean. Prabhupada made them do this. When during Prabhupada's class, there is a couple who always comes and they sit there and they listen nicely. And they were living together. They were not married. Living together no means what? They were having sex. What else? So Prabhupada said that it is not very good to live like this. So you should get married, but before marriage, you should never live together at all. So immediately, you know what they did? They both hired, even though their salary was very less. If you read Prabhupada Lilamrita, you'll see this. So they hired 2 different rooms. They started living separately because Prabhupada said, I'll get you married. And the marriage date was like 3 months or 4 months away. And they were living separately from each other. For the 3 months or 4 months, they spent money. And they came and then Prabhupada got them married and again they started living together. This is Acharya. How nicely Prabhupada made the marriage ceremony. Generally, sannyasis will not do Vedic yajnas. But for Krishna consciousness, for the welfare of the devotees, devotee care. Guru Maharaj is also for carrying out that orders very sweetly and nicely. A perfect follower of Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. By serving Guru Maharaj, we really feel that we are very nicely serving Srila Prabhupada. So in this way, we see that how nicely things were arranged. In Krishna consciousness, we are very well protected. Our methodology of how to execute, how to live is all defined. And we have to follow everything nicely by free will. Then we are in the right position. So don't think of any practical application, this, that, and all. But try to understand the principles of Krishna consciousness so that you'll have a vision of what exact government is. It's not, don't try to become government. Try to become a king. Rather, understand who the king is, what an ideal king means. These are all essential knowledge for us. Thank you very much. Haribol, any questions or comments? It's a very, very big purport. I have finished very shortly. So this is the maximum I can do.
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Ma'am, that was very catchy line, ma'am. Today in the class, like there is no other way, no other way, no other way. Only Krishna conscious is the way. If there is any other way, then that is the wrong way. That was the most catchiest line, ma'am. In today's class, and yes, ma'am. Like whatever you told, like you shared your experience, like how, like if you have to get something from government, like we have to like stand in a long queue. But if you have to pay taxes and all, like that is the first time you felt okay. So like comfort and all, like easily it went out. Similarly, ma'am, like me and Deep also struggled a lot for getting something from government. It's very difficult. Yes, ma'am, whatever you told is absolutely correct. What we understand from this purpose is like whatever we do, we have to do a loving devotional service to the Lord and Guru. What we have to do is we have to serve Guru Maharaj. We have to serve our spiritual master lovingly, and whatever he instructs us, we need to do that. That's all, ma'am. Like that is the one thing. Like we actually have to do. Just simply obey the spiritual master lovingly and like you surrender yourself unto him. Then your life will be perfect. Nothing else is needed. That's all, ma'am.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. You're taking the essence. Thank you. Anybody else? This is true. This is truth. Absolute truth. Anybody else want to share your realizations? I think I'll call Rajeshwar. He's busy with something.
So here, different dharmas have been explained by Bhishma Dev to Yudhishthira and others, those who are assembled there. At the same time, at the end, Bhishma has told about the activities of Vaishnava. And the activities of Vaishnava is that to engage all those who are followers of this different dharma into Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Saranam Praja, engage them into the Supreme Personality of Godhead's devotional service. This is the activity of Vaishnava. So despite he said all these things are there, but the activity of Vaishnava, just like Brahmaji, he has created Prajapatis. Their job is to populate the universe with citizens. And he also has sent Narad Muni, whose job is to liberate all of them back home, back to Godhead. So this is the process. And this is well understood by the authority Bhishmadev. So he told all the dharmas, he has explained every living entity has a dharma. Every living entity, be it three, play the role of a man or father, play the role of a Manu, play the role of a king, or play the role of whatever you want. But everyone has a dharma. But one dharma that can relieve everybody from all the different dharmas is that Sanatana Dharma. So that is the activity of devotees, which is Sanatana Dharma. Not only that activity as devotees themselves is following Sanatana Dharma, the activity of devotees is to engage all other Dharma followers into the Sanatana Dharma. Anyway, they are doing Dharma. Why not do for their ultimate benefit? This is the concern of all the Vaishnava devotees. And Bhishmadev has also stressed upon that at the end. That is very impressive.
Yes, the last item taught by Bhishmadeva was the process of pleasing the Lord. So we are all eternal servants of the Lord, and we forget this essential part of our nature. We put material conditioning. So first we are spirit soul only, no. So we do the duty. We are all eternal servants. So then we are put into material condition. Simple process of pleasing the Lord, especially householders, we are very lucky because householder especially is to install the deity at home. So 5 things, 5 primary, Prabhupada is recommending here, see here, 5 progressively go with daily routine. By concentrating on the deity, one may progressively go on with the daily routine work. We need not give up our routine work. Nobody is asking. Guru Maharaj doesn't never says to give up the routine work. What should we do? Worshiping the deity at home. 5 angas of bhakti, primary angas, those who are reading Nectar of Devotion will know this, this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There are 5 primary angas of bhakti, 5 primary process. What are all they? Nama Kirtana, Bhagavata Sravana, Sri Murtayana Sraddhayana Seva. So here, Sri Murtayana Sraddhayana Seva, worshipping the deity at home. Next, Sri Murtayana Sraddhayana Seva, Bhagavata Sravana, and Mathuravasa, Nama Kirtana, and Vaishnava Seva, serving the devotee. So Prabhupada, we are worshipping the deity at home, serving the devotee. Tulsi Maharani we are watering, Prabhupada we are offering flowers, Guru Maharaj also we are serving, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, residing in holy place, and chanting the holy name of the Lord. 5 primary angas of bhakti. So Prabhupada is recommending this 5. This is also mentioned in Nectar of Instruction. 2 chapters. 1 chapter is completely dedicated for this. Another chapter in which all different angas of bhaktis are mentioned. At the end, only these 5 are mentioned as most powerful. This 5. Inexpensive. What are they? They are all inexpensive items. People say that we require a lot of money for Krishna consciousness. No. Inexpensive item by which one can please the Lord. Thus, the subject matter was explained. So who is explaining? But the grandfather is explaining to his grandchildren. So sorry, I have to add up because this is very, very important. I forgot to mention it. Worshipping the deity at home, serving devotees. Vaishnava Seva, Bhagavata Sravana, Sri Murtayana Sraddhayana Seva, and Mathuravasa, and Nama Kirtana. So we are anyway chanting every day, offering some simple worship to the deity, offering prasadam, boga to the Lord, and we are serving devotee by offering water to Tulasi, hearings, and also some navigating, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day. We have this class, and we are living as a holy place wherever there is classes of Lord is going on, wherever there is Kirtan going on, wherever there is deity of the Lord established at home, then that is a holy place. Wherever the preaching of Krishna consciousness is happening, that's a holy place. So all the 5 we are following. This is the inexpensive way, and the Lord is most pleased. Okay. Anybody else kindly share? Sorry, because I stopped sharing. This is the important thing. Thanks, Prabhu, for intimating me. Okay. Preeti?
5,
Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you very much for the association. So let's assemble back sharp at 5 o'clock tomorrow early morning in congregation, chanting of the holy name, followed by Srimad Bhagavatam class. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Patita Pavan Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Patita Pavan Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.
Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari
Hari Hari
Hari Hari
Bol.
Bol.